Welcome everyone, my name is Jacob. Thank you for joining me. This is Hunt Detail, and if you haven't figured out by now, I tend to bounce all over the place when it comes to different topics covered onto this podcast. Last week it was new Western hunting gear that piqued my interest. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about turkey vests. I had a chance to do a comparison, a head-to-head comparison of four and a half, five different turkey vests, and it released that breakdown on the Hunt Detail YouTube channel. And you can look at the five that I looked at. One of them was an old Field and Stream vest, sort of a real basic stripped down version of a turkey vest. Then the Hale Run and Gun 200, the TideWe kickstand, the Nomad Killing Time turkey vest, and the Sitka Equinox turkey vest. And I really enjoyed doing it because I'd not really dove deep into turkey vests ever. I personally have used the Nightingale Run and Gun for a couple seasons, and it works fine, but I never really broke down what was it that worked or didn't work and how it might compare to other options out there on the marketplace. And that's really where we're at today on this podcast. Certainly go to that video. There's a spreadsheet that you can go find on the Hunt Detail Instagram page at Hunt Detail. You click on the link tree in the profile. You can download that spreadsheet. There's other spreadsheets there as well for different gear comparisons, that sort of thing. And, admittedly, I purchased the Nightingale Run and Gun 200, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, whatever maybe it was 2, I don't know, but I've enjoyed it. I've used it. I've liked it. It's been fine, but I always thought, oh, run and gun, that's me. I'm more run and gun. I'm trying to cover ground, and I'm trying to be where the turkeys are, not where I want them to be, that sort of thing. But I don't know if the experience with that vest has been all that great. And so what I'll do is talk on this podcast is talk about each of those vests that I did a review on and a comparison, and just sort of share some of the same conclusions and some nuance with that comparison. So it's interesting when when I first got my hands on all, had these 4 or 5 vests, especially the TideWe, the Nomad, and the Sitka. It's like you're like, they're all sort of the same. I mean, some are bigger, some are smaller, some fit me better, but they're all the same. There's not, how could I possibly find nuance between the three of them when they're all the same? And the truth is that all of these vests could work just fine. And obviously, some folks don't even use a turkey vest. They use a chest pack. There's several different companies that have a chest pack out there. There's some that have a fanny pack. I think Muddy has a fanny pack sort of thing, or the tool belt. Sitka has come out with their own version of a tool belt this year. The chest packs, I can't remember who makes those, but I mean, those can absolutely work. But for me and my purposes, I hunt a lot of public land, and I like a vest because I like to take the gear that comes, that I need to take with me. It's a water bladder. It's a little set of binos. It's shotgun shells. It's, of course, a box call and some pot calls and strikers, and some reeds and a thermocell, mosquito repellent. Those are the things that maybe a decoy, maybe not a decoy, but those are the things that I want to bring with me. And so I want that gear to stay tight to me. I don't want it making noise. I don't want to lose it, which is a big time thing that I'm constantly struggling with. How do I keep my gear tight and without it falling, to the ground without me knowing? And so really wanted to try to take a look at each of those vests on their own and see what they brought to me and what they didn't. And I was a little surprised by sort of my ultimate choice And so I'll go through each one of them now a little bit. I started in the review, and I'll start here with the Field and Stream vest. Again, this thing is several years old. I don't think it's on the market anymore. I can't even remember how much I paid for it. It was probably 70 or 80 bucks. It's lightweight, it's inexpensive, but it's a very stripped down version because it's just a bag and some pockets. Now, it has a pocket for a box call. It has the bag for the decoy, but it doesn't have a pouch for a water bladder. The pocket for the box call it does cinch down, but it doesn't. I think one of the weaknesses, and what I would encourage you to do if you're in the market for a turkey vest, is to take a hard look at the box call setup. It's something that I think is sort of overlooked a lot, because box calls by nature, they just noisy, and if they slide into a pocket and those two pieces of wood are allowed to sort of create any level of friction or tap, they will make noise, and they'll make a noise that you don't want. And so a lot of these vests have box call pockets that are just not ideal. And only one of them really designed it with intent, and that I think was the Sitka Equinox. And you can see it. It's pretty thick layer of foam. It sort of compresses down. I take that back. The Nightingale Run and Gun 200 does have a system sort of to cinch down and to lock the box call in place. But ultimately, getting back to the Field and Stream, one of the things that I learned when I used that Field and Stream pack was that it had one-way zipper pockets, and if you put any amount of anything into some of these pockets, if it's one way, you pretty much have to almost open the whole pocket the whole way to get what you want to get out. And of course, everything is sort of spilling out, or making noise or whatever. And so as I looked at these, I realized there's a couple things that rose to the top. One, I want pockets that have two-way zippers, where I can gradually open a pocket, reach in and grab what I need without opening the whole pocket. The other thing is I want something that holds the box call really well. But the other thing that I realized that I really, really want is something that's incredibly comfortable. And only one of these really provided that was light years ahead of the other vest. I mean, if you think about the structure of a turkey vest, it's got a padded back, and it's got a cushion, and then how you adjust that cushion, to stay tight against your back or to put it underneath your butt, could be parts, a straps or a strap system or a flip system, or straps and a magnet system. And but there's not a whole lot of difference between, say, the Sitka Equinox or the Nomad Killing Time or the Nightingale Run and Gun. And so as I move from the Field and Stream vest, we'll talk about the Nightingale Run and Gun 200. Now, this is very lightweight. It has a water bladder pouch. It has a MOLLE panel for attachments, like if you wanted to attach a thermocell, it's perfect for that. It has a strap system in the back for decoys, so it doesn't have a decoy bag. It does have a pouch on the back that can expand to hold gear. It can expand to hold, TP or other things that you might need. It has a bungee system as well, to where you might be able to, push in a rain jacket in the back there. But again, it had the one-way zip pockets, and that's one of the things I'm not a huge fan of. And it had no internal chest pockets. So that was, the Nightingale Run and Gun 200 comes in at 99 bucks. It's a decent value. It's, again, one that I've used a lot, and it works fine, but I do feel the limitations because it doesn't have enough space for additional things that I might want to carry. And when I say that, it's not even just the things I want to carry, but it's things that I want to carry quietly and efficiently, without making a lot of movement, without having to take the pack off to get things that I put in the very back of the turkey vest. And so, that takes us up to the TideWe kickstand. Comes in at $159. Now, the Nightingale 200 is a pound and a half. Well, this thing is 7 pounds 4 ounces. So the kickstand obviously is a big reason why it weighs so much more than these other vests. But if we look at the kickstand, it has a water bladder pouch. It means that the kickstand means that there's no tree necessary. You can sit and lean back, almost like you're in a beach chair or a low lawn chair, and be incredibly comfortable. And it did have two-way zip pockets. It has a two-magnet cushion system, but there's also clips on the side that keep the pack in place, or I'm sorry, the cushion in place. There is a MOLLE panel for attachments, and it has a solid pocket system. It has some internal pockets. Obviously, it's very heavy. The box call pocket, again, I thought wasn't a great design. And it has some simple buckles that to me look like the type of buckles that to break really easily. So those are some of the cons. But I think of all of these, this bag or this vest surprised me the most how much I liked it, because it is so comfortable, and it was so different than some of the other bags or the other vest. I don't know why I keep saying bags. The other vest. And I think one of the things is that with the whole run and gun concept, it sounds so great and so ideal of like, oh, I'm going to hunt public land. I'm going to be covering 10 miles looking for turkeys or hunting these turkeys. But I honestly feel like one of the most important aspects of turkey hunting is not necessarily the amount of ground that you cover. And I'm talking on public land. It's not necessarily the amount of ground that you cover per se. It's the fact that you can sit still and be comfortable and be patient for a long period of time, because obviously turkeys are highly active in the morning and they come off the roost, and a lot of times that's when they get shot. But if you're hunting into the afternoon and you're just waiting patiently for a lone gobble or whatever, your comfort is your primary thing here. I mean, obviously you're trying to keep ticks off you and that sort of thing, but you're trying to sit still, be patient, and be comfortable. I almost want to say is more important than the lightweight features that you get with a run and gun style turkey vest. And that's what really surprised me in this evaluation, is that yes, 7.5 pounds is significantly heavier than a pound and a half vest. There's no question. But when you put that on your back, it's not really a lot of weight, in all honesty. I mean, if you think about the what you carry in the woods when you're deer hunting and the ground that you cover when you're deer hunting, it's not remarkably different, in my opinion, in terms of the amount of ground that you cover. And the amount of weight that I carry on my back, if I added it up during deer season, I'm guessing it's 7.5 pounds, probably a little bit more than that. I don't know. I'd have to really run the numbers. But if I'm struggling to carry 7.5 pounds on my back with a turkey vest, then maybe you can add a little bit more to that when you add your gear. Let's add another pound for your calls and all of that. If I'm struggling, then there's a problem. There's a real problem. If I'm like, oh my gosh, this 7-pound turkey vest is killing me. I need something that's 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds. And so my point in saying all this is that maybe if you're looking for a new turkey vest or a turkey vest for the first time, maybe you should focus on comfort first. And because I think the whole run and gun style is great to think about, but is it really practical? Because you're A, less comfortable, B, you have gear that you might be leaving at home that you might need or would like to have to add to that comfort. And C, when you don't have the things that you want on your chest, on the front of your chest, then you end up having to take your pack off, taking off that run and gun style vest and digging for whatever it is that you need. But oh, by the way, you're running light in your run and gun. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think I've converted myself on some level to a much heavier, much larger turkey vest, all for the sake of being able to be more comfortable and be more patient. And it's not. I don't think it's going to slow me down a bit, quite honestly. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that takes us up from the TideWe to the Nomad Killing Time, which came in at $230. It's 5 pounds, and this one touts 28 pockets. It has a stadium seat that sort of folds out in addition to the cushion. Both are removable. It has a sunglass pocket on the back of the vest, and it also has a thermocell pocket, which I thought was a really good idea. It also has a mesh bag for morel mushrooms, which is a nice idea. And, I think there's a lot of good ideas in the bag itself. But again, when I tried the stadium seat, it was fine. It didn't. I think it would be very comfortable along with the cushion. But the cushion only had a one magnet touch point, connection point on the back, and this bag doesn't. It didn't seem to me come with a water bladder pouch. It certainly wasn't really set up for it along the shoulders like you would traditionally see. It did have two pouches for water bottles, and I'm not a fan of carrying water bottles. They're crunchy. It requires a lot of movement. They're I just think they often pop out of those pouches or pockets. So I think that is, when I looked at the Nomad Killing Time, I didn't really care for it because A, it's a very high price point, and B, some of the holes in it in terms of no water bladder pouch, just one magnet on the cushion, the box call pocket I didn't think was incredibly well designed, and the stadium seat didn't make it like significantly more comfortable than say the Hale Run and Gun 200 or any of these other ones, except for, like I mentioned with the TideWe with the kickstand. So that again, as you dive in, as you take a hard look at some of these turkey vests, there are some things that really start to rise to the top as you start to break them down. And I know it can be overwhelming, even when I've gone into stores to look at them. I'm like, well, this looks good enough. I don't know. But I would say, the pockets, the two-way zip, the box call pocket, and then really think hard about how comfortable is this going to be. So that brings us to the Sitka Equinox, and that came in at $269, 2 pounds, 12 ounces, and really, really well designed. I mean, water bladder pouch, waterproof, strap system for decoys, magnetic closures on the pockets that were very quiet, and those pockets were also waterproof. So if you're hunting in the rain, which hunting in a light rain is great for hunting turkeys, quite honestly, and you want to protect those reeds, you want to protect your calls, keep them dry. Those pockets in that entire vest is so well designed. There is expandable storage space on the back. The box call pocket, as I mentioned earlier, was encased in foam, and so I thought it was also well designed in terms of trying to keep your box call quiet. And then it had a flip cushion system, which I thought was also easy to maneuver as you wanted to flip it up or flip it down with the turkey vest on you. So I would say the only drawbacks to this vest there really is, could you add a mesh bag that sort of pulls out of one of the back pockets to carry decoys. I think that would be an easy thing to do, like a simple mesh bag that that pulls out. It's attached inside of the one of the pouches, and you put you can put a decoy or two. I don't always use decoys, but it is nice sometimes to have those. And then the price point with anything at Sitka, it's always going to be about the price point. Are you really, and I hate the phrase buy once, cry once. I think that's ridiculous because it justifies spending a degree of money on something that may not give you the value that you want. Yeah, like we sometimes when we say that, it's like the assumption is the most expensive thing is the best thing, and that's just not the case. This is a fine vest. It's designed for that run and gun hunter, but I don't think it's any more comfortable than the Night and Hale Running Gun 200. Now, is it better designed? Does it have better value over the $100 Night and Hale vest? Yeah, I think so. Does it have an extra $170 worth of value over that vest? I don't know if it does. I don't think it does, honestly. So ultimately, it was a nice opportunity to take a look at a cross section of this category. The category is gigantic. There's no way I could have possibly reviewed all of the different options in this category. But hopefully, if you go to the Hunt Detail YouTube channel, you can watch the breakdown, and hopefully this podcast brings some value to you in terms of what what you're looking for in terms of a turkey vest, either a brand new or something for one of your kids, or an upgrade for yourself. So all I ask is just like and subscribe, and again, check out the YouTube channel, check out the Instagram feed. Thank you all for your time, and best of luck this upcoming season. Thank you.